He's accused of murder, of essentially walking into work yesterday morning at 6 a.m. and the first thing he did was to grab a sledgehammer and bludgeon to death 20-year-old Amber Czech.
Amber Czech was 20 years old, from Hutchinson, Minnesota. Friends and family describe her as deeply dedicated, especially to her work. She had completed a 10-month welding technology program at Alexandria Technical and Community College. She loved welding. She wasn't just passing through her job, she invested in her craft. For Amber, each shift built more than product. It built her future. Amber worked at Advanced Process Technologies in Cokato, Minnesota, a facility that makes food and dairy processing equipment. It was early morning at the plant when the violence occurred. The factory, its routines, machines, all should have felt predictable, safe for someone like Amber. But that routine became the site of unspeakable tragedy. On November 11th, just before 6 a.m., a 911 call went out from the plant. A woman at her workstation, major head trauma, significant blood loss. Deputies rushed in, paramedics arrived, but the scene was already catastrophic. The victim, Amber, was discovered in her station area, gravely wounded. Meanwhile, surveillance footage would later become the central piece of evidence.
Investigators say surveillance video recorded a lot of DeLong's attack first thing in the morning. They say he put on gloves, grabbed the sledgehammer from the woman's workstation, and then hit her with it.
The victim is off scene from the video, but the video shows the suspect swinging a pretty significant incised sledgehammer 5 times and attacking the victim.
They say the woman was standing for the first blow, but then DeLong hit her 4 times after she was on the ground.
After the assault, DeLong allegedly turned to a coworker saying, "I hit her with your hammer. She is by your toolbox. She is gone." It was a chilling admission, delivered not in private, but in front of someone else, a witness who would later speak to investigators. That statement reveals not just guilt, but a horrifying finality. Deputies responded swiftly. DeLong was arrested at the scene without resistance. Once in custody, he cooperated.
He acknowledged in that statement that he intended to kill the victim. So it does seem like we have premeditation available in this case.
He confessed to killing Amber, admitting he did not like her and that he had been planning it for some time. The level of premeditation adds a chilling dimension to the crime. DeLong has been charged with second-degree intentional murder, but prosecutors are considering upgrading the charge to first-degree premeditated murder, which would require a grand jury. The potential first-degree charge signals that authorities see this not as a crime of passion, but of premeditation. Authorities say Amber died from blunt force trauma to the head, consistent with multiple sledgehammer strikes. The weapon was recovered near her body. Forensics and video together draw a horrifying picture. Deliberate, forceful, repeated impact. In interviews and the criminal complaint, DeLong claimed he didn't like Amber, citing a bad look she once gave him. Random preference and resentment. Advanced Process Technologies released a brief, somber statement. They are heartbroken, working closely with law enforcement and supporting employees and the victim's family. In the wake of the tragedy, production at the facility was paused for the rest of the week. Her high school coach remembered her as a sharp basketball player, laughing, always careful with her welding, joking about losing a finger. Those who knew her say she believed in her work and in building something real through her trade. The shockwaves went beyond her family. In her small town and among the trades community, her death prompted conversations about safety, mental health, and the risks workers take every day. Colleagues, friends, and industry peers expressed heartbreak, even anger, over how such violence could erupt under familiar roofs. Amber's case underscores how even ordinary industrial workplaces can become crime scenes when personal animosity escalates. From public sources, there's no documented history of a formal complaint, harassment report, or visible threat. But given DeLong's admission of planning, questions arise. Could signs have been noticed? Were coworkers or management aware of his state of mind? Did Amber feel uncomfortable or threatened before? We may never know all the answers, but overlooking potential red flags can have deadly consequences. Amber was a young woman in a physically demanding, male-dominated field. In forums across tradeswomen networks, like r/blue collar women, her death hit hard. Many see her not just as a tragedy, but as a symbol. Advocates in construction, welding, and safety sectors are urging companies to do more. Strengthen workplace violence policies, train managers to recognize risk, and ensure mental health resources. Some in the trades believe Amber's death must become a catalyst for cultural shifts, not just in her facility, but across the industry.
Workplace violence is actually more common than you might think. In the U.S., workplace homicides happen almost 10 times every week, and in Minnesota, workplace assaults happen almost 20 times every week.
With prosecutors evaluating a first-degree premeditated murder charge, this case could set a precedent. A grand jury may be convened. If additional charges are brought, it could reshape how similar crimes are prosecuted. Meanwhile, Amber's family and the community are watching closely, demanding not just justice, but systemic change, accountability for DeLong, and prevention in the future. Amber Czech's life was cut short, but the questions raised by her death resonate far beyond her community. She was building, hoping, and working. Now her story demands that we all pay attention to mental health, to workplace safety, to how grudges can turn deadly. Her name shouldn't be just another tragic headline. Her legacy can be a call to protect, to prevent, and to transform. Thank you for watching this deep dive into the life and death of Amber Czech. If her story moved you, please consider subscribing